our roles were reversed. I was the groom, best man. And it was at that wedding that Mark gave, and this is a direct quote from my former boss, the most offensive best man speech I've ever heard, and ever likely to hear again. So, when you asked me to be your best man, of course I was honoured. But at the same time, my mind did think back to that speech. However, it'd be wrong for me to use this opportunity for exacting my revenge, seeing as it's such a nice occasion. Just don't think you're completely off the hook. So one of my best man duties was to organise Mark's stag do, and actually it was a really busy time for me, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without the help of Nick Kafka for sorting out the t-shirts. And also David Barber, providing us with his local knowledge of the island. I can appreciate. I like to think that we gave you a gold star stag do, although it seems you weren't content with just gold and chose to extend your stay night big by yourself. What you got up to, we can only speculate. But I guess it means you're more of a platinum man after all. So before turning my full attention to the group race, I'd like to start by saying how beautiful Caroline is looking today, as I think you'll all see. I would also like to say how lovely the bridesmaids look today. I think between you all...
Cunt. Steve, one for you, bro.
So, maybe I should quickly introduce myself. Obviously, some of you already know me, but not everyone does. My name is Tom, and I've known Mark for about 20 years, from about a year before going off to university. However, it was at Bristol University where we lived in the same accommodation that I really got to know him, and we've been great mates since. Of course, we've stayed good friends since then, we've been on many holidays, and we're also climbing partners for several years. It's fair to say you learn a lot about somebody when you're tied to the end of the rope and your life is in their hands. So I feel in a good position to take you all on the tour of the man that is Mark Upson.
Go on!
So, I'd like to start with the easy picnics, is punctuality. Now, for as long as I've known Mark, he's always had a rather relaxed attitude towards timekeeping. In fact, he's the only person I know who's got his own time zone. It's called Upson time. It was created by his friends to ensure that he would turn up on time. The basic idea is you all agree to meet at some time, but then you tell Mark to meet 15 minutes beforehand. In fact, over the years, it's escalated. It's gone from 15 to 45 miles an hour. It's no wonder he had to move to Europe. I think Switzerland's a very strange choice for someone with such time issues. It's the land of the clock when punctuality is a national virtue.
Yeah, you can have that, yeah.
Another of his characteristics is his absent-mindedness. Now, many of you know Mark does have a tendency to kind of zone out and become all vacant. Sometimes he starts to mumble. And when he goes off to this special place, strange phenomena start to happen. Mobile phones get locked. Bike locks don't get locked and bikes get stolen. In particular, my bike got stolen. Flights home from my beeper get missed.
Yay!
Taps don't get turned off and the downstairs flat gets flooded. Car parks get closed, leaving your car stuck inside, and you and your girlfriend stranded for the night on your anniversary. Now, I'd just like to return to the mobile phone issue because I think this man must have lost at least 10 mobile phones. I don't think I know anyone who's lost that many. Perhaps, I don't know, Paris Hilton or someone like that. It's not like Mark isn't aware of this. In fact, he went to the doctor about his bad memory, and he was referred to a specialist. And this reads like a bad joke, but it's true. He forgot to turn up to the appointment. He's also a man who always believes he's right. He doesn't believe in reading the instruction manual, especially the safety breathing. He thinks the best way to learn is through your own mistakes. At all costs, never seek advice from someone more experienced than you. The result of this teach yourself attitude is that he has made some blunders. Apparently for his first attempt at windsurfing, he bragged to the instructor that he'd done it all before, and he took the most advanced board. This resulted in him being unable to stand up and just getting dragged down the shore by about a mile. Eventually he had to give up and to drag the board back in and then sort of walk the mile of shame back up the beach. He also thrives on being vague, be it verbally or when he's writing an email. He'll always skirt around the point. He's a bit like a mischievous pixie who throws his pixie dust to create a crowd of confusion and vagueness. And in this cloud he can thrive, whereas everybody else flounders. this gives him the upper hand. It also means he doesn't have to get tied down, and he doesn't have to commit to anything. And I think that's what it really boils down to, Mark. Commitment issues.
There's a subtle build-up.
So, enjoy it. So, you may think I've been a bit hard on the man, having given him such a, quite a bit of negative press. And you might be asking, if it's this bad, how come he's bagged such a great wife and has a great life out in Switzerland? Of course, he does have his redeeming features. Well, I think my biggest strength is his ability to improvise or wing it when the odds are stacked against him and always land on his feet. And his skill has been honed by repeatedly digging himself into a hole, falling into it, and then having to work out how to get out. You might say his life has been a series of ups and downs.
Jesus.
He's always been a big hit with the ladies with his looks and charms, and in certain quarters he's been a big hit with the men too. The girls
Reference.
To gay icons of the Bristol club scene, to dirty old men in the toilets of Waterloo Station.
Oh, come on. Oh, offside.
However, his pulling technique has always been a bit of a mystery. Apparently, he used to organise parties and chill spoons in the freezer beforehand. Then when the girls turned up to turn up to the party, he'd invite them to play his trademark cold spoons down the pants game. Now, I don't really understand the mechanics of that game, so you'll have to ask.
Not the only one.
Well, you can fill everyone in. It's amazing he's managed to preserve his voice for so long, despite burning the candle at both ends for most of his life. I think the secret to his success is his lifelong commitment to always washing his face with flannel. Now,
Good food.
If you've ever been around to the Upson household and you've been in their bathroom, you understand that flannel usage is part of their family institution. Indeed, if the Upson family had a family coat of arms, then it would be on a flannel-backed crest, with the roaring face of Hulk Hogan instead of a lion. Telephone number 8909. He was a man with a great sense of humour and someone who looked out for his friends. His only real digression to this was the time that he bought his money to set fire to the Tesco's in Camden. This resulted in him getting suspended, plus the whole of Snacks and Dunstans was banned from leaving the school grounds at lunchtime. But on a serious note, he is a man who is pretty much up for anything, and it has the get up and go that differentiates him from being just an armchair dreamer to someone who's not scared to try. So, even though I may have mocked him for some of his unorthodox ideas, like importing camper vans from Japan, or deciding to train to be a jeweller, or holding weddings in the south of France where nobody lives. In a way, I admire him for not only being crazy enough to come up with the ideas, but brave enough to go out and achieve them. I think I'm not alone in saying that since you've moved to Switzerland, you've been sorely missed for this. It's fair to say that since meeting Caroline, I only see more and more of Mark's strengths and less of his weaknesses. He's only lost 3 mobile phones so far. So, how did this wonderful couple meet? Well, Mark and Caroline met at IMS Health, which is the company where Caroline still works. He wooed her by taking her to a darts contest with his mates on the first date. After that, they got together, and it wasn't long before Mark moved in. However, their lives at the firm went in different directions. Caroline got promoted, whereas Mark got made redundant.
Reference.
It was a period of soul searching for Mark. Well, at least internet searching and playing online poker. Eventually, Caroline got a transfer to Switzerland, and Mark followed closely behind like a poodle. But it's in Switzerland that I think they've become much closer. You've only got to have a look at their Facebook photo to see what they've done together, the fact that they've had an amazing time for the past couple of years. So, after several dress rehearsal proposals, Mark finally plucked up the courage to pop the question. Caroline said yes, and this is why we find ourselves here today. In a way, you might say marriage is one of the scariest adventures Mark has ever undertaken. But I honestly think you've found a girl with the same spirit of adventure and get up and go that you have, and you have nothing to fear. In fact, I really don't think you could have found a more ideal partner than Caroline. I don't know any other girls who'd be so happy to go along with all your ideas. Also, the fact that she hasn't got any clinical mental disorders like most of your friends.
Yeah, we'll leave that.
So I'd like to finish up now by asking the couple to share an intimate moment with us. If you could just hold hands and look deep into each other's eyes. Yeah. And know this. You are now staring into the eyes of the person who is, statistically speaking, the person most likely to murder you.
Yeah, you can have that. Yeah.
Brother's going to say a few words. Not that he's a man of few words, as myself and the rest of the passengers from rows 16 to 21 found out on the midnight plane home from my beat. Stuart Hudson.
Well done, Tom. Well done, Tom. Awesome, awesome.